by NYPD 2024. That was another police from another state making NYPD do their job.
The name of this place is perfect. It just goes to show that this timeline really does have a sense of humor. Oh, look at that flag back there too. What a great day in New York City. Look who we found, folks. Could you believe it? With the perfect background soundtrack, we have located the statue of one. I had to give this guy $5 because he caught me at Penn Station the other day. He's one of the only guys I talked to in years. Look at him, he's a smiley cat.
Hannah Honey was a peachy kind of girl. Her eyes were hazel, her teeth were slightly curved.
We're in the Bagel Pub, and we still can't escape the French.
Everybody should be free. Everybody should be.
Okay. That's how my buddy Frank says okay, folks. But welcome to Sefer episode 10. Our theme, we got a lot of things going on this week, but we're starting out by observing the ideal, or what used to be the ideal of the man slaying the dragon. The horse is impressed. The maiden is overjoyed. Order is brought to the chaos, and we carry on, right? But how did we go from that to this is what I'm wondering. If you'll notice that maiden, well, we still got maidens around. This one's she's pondering her little dish here. And she's cool. But let's get back to the themes, right? We're talking about the systematic destruction of society, actually, this episode, and rock and roll, and the death of rock and roll. And talk about degradation. Now, look at these New Yorkers. Look, they're such perverts. Did you notice from that last shot to this shot? But what we're really trying to get at in this episode is money and the absolute state that we find ourselves in the year 2025. And how does that relate to Tartaria? The Tartarian thing, we're always looking for Tartaria, but what is the point of mere intellectual curiosity when we've already proven enough is wrong with the timeline, that there are other mysteries to be unraveled, right? That I've been trying to pepper in, if you read between the lines over the course of all these episodes, without trying to spell it out and getting banned from YouTube. We're taking a walk around the realm, the rock and roll headquarters of the realm, which is New York City. And we got some bell observation. We found this awesome falcon, actually. You know, there's always bright spots amongst the chaos. I keep saying this degradation of society phrase. What am I really talking about? Well, I've tried to tie it into, when we go with the Tartarian theme, this is a funny little anomaly right here where they say World War II ended in 46. But anyway, the Tartaria theme, we're looking for the focus. Old world. But let's talk about what the difference is between the old world and the new world would be. I've touched on the electricity aspect of for whom the rumors that they had free electricity. We can't prove that one way or another. One thing we can prove is that going from the old world into the new one, our currency has lost its value. The current state of affairs is what we're talking about, and it has to do with how people conduct themselves. If you'll notice, there's this funny electrical language that ties it all together, and the electric guitar is at the forefront of rock and roll. Throw that out there too. The Shiva Shakti connection. Some of these, that pillar at the top of that building looked like a Shiva lingam a few slides back, actually. But yeah, what's that weird instrument in this guy's hand? We're still checking out New York City and the iconography and how weird it all is.
Rock and roll can never die.
For instance, what is that? What is that rooftop? I like the aesthetic of it. It looks like a brazier. Is that how you pronounce the word? Like you could burn a fire up in that thing, maybe. Like a lantern. So, you know, it's aesthetic enough that I don't have to say it has any other purpose, but it's intriguing enough that it could have. We got the regal empire type look because we're in the Empire State. So some nice scale armor. I don't know what that reminds me of. Scales. What does that remind you of? This is just reminiscent of, when I think of the old world, I think of more of what could have been. In my opinion, it's just that there were forces that were consolidating power in the 1800s, and the way that took shape led us from one path onto another, and we may have lost something along the way, which leads to another theme or topic of contemplation, which is centralization versus decentralization. And put all these things together, what I've said this episode is what we can observe is that society has degraded, and I think we can directly relate it to the degradation of our currency and the standards that it's held to, and the inflation that comes from going from a gold standard to a fiat to whatever we're going to now with the crypto. This is another. This looks pretty old, doesn't it? It looks weathered. This building is from 1896. There's definitely this whole shift around 1900. I'm going to show you a chart soon that shows what happens to the rate of inflation when the Federal Reserve is created in 1913. And then something else funny happens. I think I figured out why they did the thing with Jackie in the early 60s. Our guy, you know? The main reason. Sure, I mean, there were a lot of reasons, but the main thing, you'll see what happens when Nixon takes us off the gold standard. This picture is to show that it's all very illusory, even when we do see things that look like they could be old. Look at that. It's just, that's poor craftsmanship, I would say. So the whole facade with the World's Fair thing, no, I still think that there's a lot of just weirdness with the numbers and the populations and the migrations and the wars. And I think a lot has been obfuscated from the timeline, from the official history. Here we go again, how things can just be a facade though, right? And like I said, why does any of it matter besides intellectual curiosity if we can't weave it into our current state of affairs? There I am with the current word again, and the currency. And here's the chart I was talking about. I had to do a little editing. So here we go, 1946. That's a nice silver coin. 1964, another nice silver coin. 10 years later, I don't know what they do with these things. They're zinc, I think, maybe. That's funny because I went to that zinc mine. Or, yeah, and they're plated in something that looks like silver. I don't know, but they don't conduct electricity the same way, that's for sure. They don't sound the same when you flip them. And, yeah. Why did I call this episode The Lost Art of Flower Arrangement when it's not really a lost art? It's alive and well. I got some prime examples for you right here to just enjoy. Before we switch over to the rock and roll segment of the video. And I could see how I rub people the wrong way without that. I don't make claims and statements as much as it seems like I give people questions. Can I even speak, folks? Seems like I'm always questioning and hinting and not getting to the point. But the question is, what role did rock and roll play in this whole, I gotta stop using the word degradation. What's another synonym for that? But just, our society is obviously more chaotic. And is there more suffering or does it balance out? Like, that's a good question too. All right, so here's a little oddity or an anomaly that we came across, which is a great tie-in because it's more synchronicity. Somebody was saying today on the internet how it's an allegory about how they're leveling the playing field. That's why the flat earth thing keeps coming up in the conspiracy circles. But here we have, what is this? Is this evidence of lasers Guys, I never get off the laser thing, do I? I know I'm incorrigible. Another oddity. We just gotta throw them up there, catalog them, let them seep in your brain. This looks like... Did somebody do this with scaffolding? Or was it more lasers? Folks, looks like it's the middle of nowhere, right? This is just an annoyance to me. Why do they do this? They have these pedestals with no statues on them, and they're everywhere. It's like they can't even be bothered. Every now and again, you see a nice statue, and that's how you know, obviously, that's what's supposed to go in those places. But it's just like all those places where they could have a coat of arms, and they don't. This looks like a humongous wall, and this is a correction from episode 4 from the Siberian thing. I guess I couldn't find a good enough picture. I'm pretty sure this is the Siberian wall that is undoubtedly extremely out of control, megalithic. These are the pyramids of China that I'd like to seep into your consciousness, folks, that had red-headed mummies in them and probably still do. There's a lot of them, and they just don't let the cat out of the bag on that. So, yeah, where are we at? The synchronicities and the clues and the rock and roll. Ain't noise pollution.
I'm gonna try for the kingdom if I can, 'cause it makes me feel like I'm a man when I put a spike in to my vein, and I tell you things aren't quite the same. I'm rushing on my run, and I feel like Jesus' son, and I guess I just don't know, and I guess I just don't know. Heroin, be there for me. I'm waiting for my man. $26 in my hand. Up to Lexington, 125. Feel sick and dirty, more dead than alive. I'm waiting for my man. Here he comes, he all dressed in black. Pea shoes and a big straw hat. Never early, won't know, he always late. First thing you learn, you always gotta wait. I'm waiting for my man, hey white boy. What you doing uptown, hey white boy? You chasing all women around. Pardon me, sir, furthest from my mind. Just looking for a dear friend of mine. I'm waiting for my man. Up to Brownstone, up 3 flight of stairs. Everybody's pin you, baby. Nobody cares. Got the works, give you sweet taste. Got a split, you got no time to wait. I'm waiting for my man. Baby, don't you holler now, darling. Don't you bawl and shout. You know I'm feeling good. I'm fine until tomorrow's just some other time. I'm waiting for my